Okay. Thank you, team. All right. As we're getting more and more people joining us up, welcome to today's live, everybody. And today's live, I'm going to talk to you about a very interesting segment here, guys. So thank you very much for joining. So those of you who are logging on, uh, give me a quick shout out, guys. Hi and hello. And where are you listening from? I think for us at the Spark Group Asia, we have been so busy with running all of our Facebook Lives. We've been having people from Myanmar, we've been having people from Thailand, Cambodia, Singapore, Indonesia. So it's really, really good. So I want to see. Oh, hey, hello. This is from PJ, Pataling Jaya. So those of you who are joining up, hurry on, lie. All right. So uh, it's been thank you so much, Joe. Give me a quick wave, guys, if I can see you. So just pop in your text in the Facebook comments over there. Thank you so much, Joshua from KL. Nice. Adrian from Kajang. Okay. Nick, thank you so much, team. I think it's been a busy weekend for those of you who were watching the news. I think it's amazing because it's been a busy weekend for us. The announcement by the Prime Minister with our May 4th being the conditional MCO. So how many of you started getting busy this week? Yeah, give me a bit of a shout out. Are you getting busy? How many of you are back at business, doing the run of the mill? Oh, right, time to rock and roll. I want to open up the shop. How many of you are doing that? And how many of you are still working from home? Give me a quick. Let's do a quick poll here. How many of you are saying, "Oh, okay, I want to wait and see"? And for some of us, our businesses can do that. Del Marquez Cusay from Philippines. Oh my gosh, fantastic. You must have logged into our session with John Yabbit. That was an amazing session. So thank you for being here, Del. We talk about team. So fantastic. Awesome. Which part of Philippines are you from? Are you from Manila? You from different? Oh, I love Philippines. The only place I've been to is Manila so far. I want to go to some of your beautiful islands. Yeah. And how many of you are working from home? You're saying, okay, I still want to see what happens. And for some of us, our businesses can do that. Our businesses can still do that. So we're tucked in at home, but we're still working. Yeah. But for some of us, if we're in retail or we're in manufacturing, we've got to get out there and we've got to start running our companies. And some of us are really rocked and roll. I think for Philippines, I'm not sure if you're. I think Philippines, you're not totally locked down. From what I heard from John Yabbit, not totally locked down. So the economies are still going. Hopefully, you're keeping your infections and your numbers from COVID-19 all nice and under control. We're doing a pretty good job, Malaysia, doing a pretty good job with keeping our numbers under control. Yesterday, our numbers went down to about 30, if I'm not mistaken. Malaysians, yeah, was it about 30 new infections? Yeah. Del, very good. You're from Manila. Awesome. Thet Yiwin. Yiwin. Myanmar. Okay. Myanmar, where are you from? Is it give me a quick shout out which city you're from. I love Myanmar. I love the facial expression. The cream that you put on your face. I really love that because it's so good for skin. It's part of the bark. They make that into liquid and then they put that on your face. So it's really, really good. I bought a few bottles back home and have been using them until I have none left. So Yiwin, that's awesome. Tell me which part of Myanmar you're from. Adrian. Yeah, working since day one. Thank you very much. So for many of us who have this option of getting into still working from home, Yangon. Oh, I love Yangon. That's where I've been. So Ewan, thank you very much for logging on. So we've got a lot of different people logging from many places. Yeah, I hope in Myanmar you guys are keeping yourself well and safe. Yeah, because I think that's the key thing. I think that you're wearing it now. You should show me a photo of that. I've got a lot of that until I don't have anymore, and I wanted to go to Yangon again and buy me a new supply. So when I see you, you can share some of that with me. Yeah, I love that. It was so good for my skin. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I think the challenge that we're having now is a health versus economic pandemic. As much as we want to get back into the business, I think what is key is that we are also able to manage our own health. So it's a safety thing. So, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are rushing to get back into business, please make sure that you stay aware and stand guided by a lot of the SOPs. And if I may, the SOPs that are being launched and implemented by our government, those SOPs are still changing by the day. So be cautious as well. If you're thinking of getting back out there, be cautious that you're not outweighing the health issues along with the economic one, and again, it's a difficult decision for many of us because we can't just weigh in on the health because some countries and some leaders of countries are also saying this, we can't stay locked down because the longer we're locked down, the more economic problems we're having, and a lot of businesses are sliding into a lot of financial issues. So if I may, for those of you who are on this call, yeah, on this session right now, I'm going to talk a little bit about what you do when you get out and when you launch your business entirely. Because one of the things that I really want to talk about is uh, this word called resilience, and me and my coaches, we were talking yesterday about resilience, and some of actually our teams, the Spark Group Asia, we've been actually working very, very hard in the last 2 to 3 weeks, guys. So my team can attest to that. Sometimes we work from home, but it hasn't been a holiday for us. We've been supporting the community, whether we're in Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore. We've actually been supporting the community by bringing a lot of good Facebook lives together. For some of you who have watched the Facebook lives, we're bringing information on digitization, we're bringing information on leadership, we're bringing so much. And we're working so hard to May 8th and 9th, which is the screen that you see. We're bringing 10 amazing speakers to you. Now, it is not an easy feat. It's not easy because managing all the speakers, 9 other speakers, including myself, so 9 other masterclass speakers are coming together on one platform with time differences. So is it 2 o'clock? Is it my 1 o'clock? Is it 5 o'clock? Is it my 12 o'clock? And I'm going, oh my gosh. So putting together the Resilient Leadership Live Asia, which happens on the May 8th and 9th, which is 2 days time, hasn't been an easy feat. So for those of you who have a chance to talk to us, we hope that you can appreciate all this effort that we're putting into helping you to learn from all these teachers that we have brought together. And so that reminds me of the conversation that I had with some of my coaches before I go into today's topic. I was just having this conversation about the meaning of resilience. So how many of you are familiar with Chinese, the Chinese language? Yeah. If you are, give me a heads up, put it into the comments and say, hey, I am good with Chinese. Cho Yin from Yangon. Wow. We're logging on quite a few people from Myanmar. Fantastic. Yiwin, Cho Yin, you must be from our interview with Andrew Pia Kai. Yeah. So Andrew Kai. So fantastic. So thank you for logging in. Yeah. So if I may, if you're familiar with Chinese, pop it inside there because the Chinese translation for resilience, yeah, the first translation is getting up after falling down. Yeah, that's a very important criteria in business is getting up after falling. So even after failure, your ability to recover, dust yourself off and keep going, that's a very, very important part of business, if I may. So that's the first translation of the word resilience. But did you know the other one? The second one, which is a very interesting translation of resilience, is adaptability. And you see, adaptability is very important as well because if I use the first translation, resilience is not about falling down and then getting up, but resilience is also about our ability to maneuver, our ability to manage changes quickly. Now that is also a form of resilience. Who says you have to fall down first? Who says you got to ride straight into a drain? I like to use cycling because I'm actually a cyclist. So I've fallen down many times, if I may. If I show you my legs, I have holes in them. Okay, holes mean scars. Okay, so but if I may, the adaptability is very, very important in business. And that kind of adaptability is something that we're going to talk about today. The adaptability of how you build a team that is not just you as the leader able to adapt, but your team as well able to adapt. You see, and I like to use the cycling format, this cycling mentality, guys, this analogy, because you see, if I'm cycling, and if I can see a drain ahead, I can see a drain. If I can see a drain ahead of me, I know how to avoid the drain. Okay. Now, there are two problems here. The first problem is that if I can see a drain ahead of me, it obviously looks like something I will fall in, so I avoid. But the key thing is, in business, how many times how clear is a drain going to look like in business? What does a drain look like in a company? What is a drain? So for example, your employees being disengaged, not showing up to office 1 day, 2 days, 1 week. Oh, okay, is that a drain? Is that going to affect your business in the long term? One customer making a complaint, asking for their money back, is that a drain? Now, you see, the thing about this is, in cycling, I can see a drain, I know how to avoid. But in business, what is a drain? So that's where education is very, very important. Okay, and I'll get to the second problem. The second problem with seeing a drain is, if I'm cycling, what if the drain was filled with water? There was a flash flood. There was a flash flood of a lot of water, and suddenly all that water from the drain is rushing towards me, and I got to, oh my goodness, turn around. Now, in business, what are some of these issues where the problem comes rushing to us and we have no choice? For example, this COVID-19, isn't it that big drain that we didn't know what to do? Now, this is the thing. And if I may, this is the beautiful opportunity. It's an opportunity or is a challenge, because a lot of business owners, and I'll say majority of business owners, were not ready. Like 99% of businesses were not ready. Unless you're already digital, you're already a tech company, all of you go home and you operate from home. But in Malaysia, many businesses are still manufacturing concerns. There are still offices where they come to work. We don't work remotely from different, because we don't, most of the teams, majority, are in the same office. They're not working in different places like Philippines, like Indonesia, Singapore. No. So when it came to COVID-19, and it came to locking down the economy, and in Malaysia, we are locked down really good, unlike, I'm not sure about Myanmar, but in Philippines, partial lockdown, in Indonesia, partial lockdown, US, partial lockdown, but in Malaysia, full lockdown. Oh my goodness, we were only burning our pockets, all right? So for me, now, this is the thing. If this were to repeat again, if I give you another flash flood of a drain, okay, and you see that water rushing toward you, what are you going to do this time? Now, this is so important. That's why we talk about resilience. We talk about resilience, and you see, and I'm going to share it at the end of today's Facebook Live. Guys, stick with me. But I'm going to share with you what are some of the key things that you can do. And I'm going to share two things with you. Two very key important elements when it comes to making better decisions in your business. Only two things. And if you forget everything else that I talk about during this live, of course, please don't forget lah. So I'm teaching all this. Yeah, I'm going to get into some real cool stuff. Two of these things are going to keep you safe if this whole COVID-19 thing is going to happen again. Now, I hope in my lifetime, I don't see another COVID-19. We don't get locked down like this again, because it's really bad for business. It's bad for health. I know a lot of people that are falling sick. They're stressed from being at home, and then they are alone. Some of them just have the whole house to themselves. They don't even have pets, but that's a struggle. But if I may, for those of you who want to know how to make those very good decisions, I'll share it at the end. Two very important things, okay? So we're going to go right into this without wasting any time. So those of you, if I can hear you nice, loud and clear, give me a bit of a thumbs up. Give me a bit of a heart. Oh, I love this. So you can find this. You know, Facebook gave us a care button. So you can leave me a care button as well. Hug your heart, all right? Just so that I know that you're there, okay? And we're gonna go jumping in. So give me a bit of uh, that engagement, gang, and then we're gonna rock and roll, okay? So please have your notes ready. Thank you, Joe. Get your notes ready, gang, because as we go jumping in, I'm going to talk about some things that will help you and your team become more resilient. Okay, so let's rock and roll. Okay, so one of the key things that you have to be very, very aware of, guys, is the difference between. Thanks a lot, guys. Nick, Eric. Hey, Eric, you're on. Okay, I love that very much. I've been seeing you over our live, so thank you very much for joining us. If I may, there is a difference between these two organizations. So if you can see my slide over here, oops, sorry, let me point here. Okay, if you can see this over here, all right, there are differences between businesses that are personality run and system run. Now, this is very, very important because if you want to avoid another massive problem with COVID-19, what we've found is that a lot of businesses, COVID-19 or not, MCO lockdown or not, okay, the challenge with businesses is a lot of businesses are personality run. That means the businesses run because of the person. They run because of the talent and not because of the system. So what you sometimes find is businesses. Okay, how many of you on this call, you're entrepreneurs? You run your own business, all right? That's okay, whether you got one staff or 100 staff, just let me know. Are you in business for yourself or are you working for others? Okay, let me see a poll. And now this is the thing, whether you work for others or not, you will see this in businesses. Yeah? Hey Tengku, hey Emma, nice to see you. Wow, long time no see. Okay, now, if you're in business for yourself, you'll sometimes find if the business is personality run, the business runs because of the business owner. If the business owner is not around, if the business owner takes a day off or is out of commission for 1 week, a lot of things get stuck. How many of you know what I'm talking about? So the entire business is not really an org chart. It is centered around one person. It's like this person is the Captain America, and the whole war is won because this fella can throw his shield everywhere, throw the hammer everywhere. Okay, so you have to be able to imagine that. And without this person, okay, the business ceases to exist. That means it's not running because of system. Because if it's running because of system, it is even without one crucial person. You take this person out, put over there, the business can still run. Okay, decisions still get made, systems still get made. Now, this is very, very important because a lot of businesses are on the left-hand side, personality driven. Emma, in business, okay, very, very good. Okay, so if you're a systems-based business, now this is something that we have to learn now, because as a systems-based business, what are all the elements that are in place? So I really want to talk about that here, gang. And I take this from Brad's Instant Systems. Those of you who have read this book before, this is fantastic, because when you're a systems-based business, what is in place? So let me just show you this. So guys, some of you who are seeing this is amazing, very, very powerful, but there are 9 critical steps for how you systematize a business. Now, I won't go into too much detail. Some of my workshops, I really go into detail, but the reason why I want to share this with you is when businesses get into trouble, they rely on certain specific talent. And in businesses, there is that issue as well. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Because in a business, you can have maybe 30 to 50 employees, but 20% of those employees are the super talent that are doing the work for 80% of the business. You have those superstars. Does that make sense? And some of these superstars, because they are good, you keep relying on them. You keep relying on them. Now, after a while, these superstars that are your 20% of your whole business, supporting 80% of the business, the Pareto rule, this 20% starts to burn out. Which is why and this talent if they go away, oh, they get another job offer, they move somewhere else. What happens here is that then you lose a talent. And then as a business owner, you got to retrain these people. And then what happens? You retrain them, they become good, but then they become burnt out and then they leave. So do you see the cycle versus being a systematized business? Okay, now how do you systematize your business? Okay, that means your business is not reliant on the talent to be good, but it's reliant on the processes, the steps and the procedures. Now this is very, very important. Okay, so how do you create a systematized business? All right, I'll just go through some simple steps over here. If you take a look at number 1, number 2, and number 3, your vision statement, which is the legacy, the purpose of your business. What is this legacy? What is this business set up for? At the end of 100 years, where would this business be? What's the long-term view of the business? Because if we set up a business just to survive our lifetime, that's also possible. Now, some people do that. When I'm gone, this business is also gone. No, but for me, when I build a business, yeah, will it survive me? All right, what is the legacy I leave behind? So that's your vision statement. All right, so some good vision statements. Thank you, Esther. Awesome. I'm glad you're on the show. Fantastic. Nice to hear from you. Actually, I see a lot of good friends. All of you are on the show. So listen up, and I'm going to share some really amazing stuff in the next less than an hour, okay? What are some good vision statements? For example, Air Asia's vision statement, now everyone can fly. Okay. What is Microsoft's vision statement? A PC in every home. So you see, a very good vision statement channels everyone's effort to one common goal. See, that's a very powerful vision statement. Okay. The mission statement is your roadmap. How do you achieve the vision? Your culture statement is your your values and your points of culture of how you want your employees to treat each other. Okay, so do you want your employees to be customer service centric? Do you want your employees to exercise integrity? Do you want your employees to exercise accountability? Those are all culture statements. And then you go to your SMART goals. So you see, I'm working from the top to the bottom. Your SMART goals are your milestones. Yeah, so your goals as well, working from outside in. So just now I talked about 100 years. You work inwards to 5 years. Where will your business be? Will you be international? Will you be global? Will you be a franchise? Bring those goals nearer. 5 years, bring it nearer to 3 years, bring it nearer to 1 year. You should have revenue specific goals, and 90 days. So you see, you set up all your SMART goals and they are in milestones. And then you go to number 5. Your number 5 is one of the first steps into systematizing. Okay, so you're setting up your organizational charts. So if you hadn't already had this, what is your organizational chart from the top to the bottom? Who is positioned where to do what? Now, when you do your org chart, like a lot of businesses I know, most of the time, number 1, the business owner's name will repeat many times. Yeah. So if you're John Wong and you're the CEO, John Wong will repeat like 12 times. It's actually quite normal. Now, but our job, if I'm John, our job is we are going to remove our name systematically from each box. And finally, the only box with our name, John Wong, is right at the top. And very soon, you can even be replaced as the CEO because John is going to be the chairman only. And then his name doesn't appear on the org chart anymore. Okay, see, that's how you systematically remove yourself from your business. Because if you're in every part of the business, guess what? You will be that person, the Captain America. Captain America cannot outsource his fighting. Only he can throw the shield. So if I may, you want to make sure you're not a Captain America, unless you have some kind of superpower lah. Yeah. So if I may, the org chart is a very good starting point. Okay. How many of you feel a little bit like Captain America right now? Yeah, in the business, everything have to come to me. Everything is up to me. Huh? If you feel like that, say, yeah, I am Captain America right now. Okay. Now, number 6. So once you have your org chart in place, your positional contracts are what we call your job descriptions. Your job descriptions are, okay, so now I have who does what and where. Okay. My job description is the scope of work. Okay, my scope of work, along with the scope of work, all right, design KPIs, your key performance indicators. So your key performance indicators are the expectations that you would have with each person in that position being paid that amount of money. What is he or she going to deliver? So that's a KPI. Now, in my experience, a lot of businesses don't have very good KPIs. They don't have that in place, so therefore it becomes very hard. Now, it's not hard for so it's hard for the employer, but it's also very hard for the employee. They don't know how to perform, they don't know what to do. Okay, so the key performance indicators. Then you go down to number 8. Number 8 on how to systems, guys, can you please put a bracket around that? That is your SOPs, system standard operating procedure, your SOPs. All right, and then your number 9 are your management systems. Now, your management systems are a software that you will use to sew up your front end and the back end so that they can talk to each other and you get to transfer data efficiently. Okay, so a lot of big companies, they get that. So if I may, SOPs are very important, but if you see SOPs, when I say systematizing a business, a lot of people just go straight to SOPs. So if I may, they go to number 8. But if you see, there are 7 other steps on systematizing the business, and if I could, SOPs is not the first thing that you build if you want to systematize your business. There's 7 other steps. Now, this is very, very crucial because, if I may, another very important thing that you'll notice about systematizing a business also is, notice when we usually systematize business, a lot of people start with the permulaan, the starting point, yeah, is number 5. Okay, a lot of people, they know how to start at number 5, org chart, okay, JDs, yeah. Now, however, if I may, a lot of people do not do number 1 and number 4. Now, this is very important because if you start with number 1 and number 4, notice what that is. 1 to 4 is actually the direction of your business. So a lot of people, they systematize to solve problems today. Yeah, that's the first part. They are okay. I got to systematize because I got so many issues. I got so many problems. Okay, I want all this to go away. All right, good. So they are systematizing to solve problems today. Or you could be the second group of business owners and leaders where you systematize for future capacity. Now, this is very important. Your future capacity can only, when you systematize for future capacity, it requires you to think of where you want to take the business. Does that make sense? That's why systematizing your business is not what you do today. It is where you want to take it, how much further in the future you want to grow, and what is that future, what is that future opportunity, what is that future vision that you see of your business, and that's why you systematize today. Does that make sense? So this is very, very important. Thank you so much, Emma. KPI, SOPs, very, very, very important. All right. Because when we talk about systems, yeah, and those of you who are loving the 9 steps, yeah, how many of you are loving the 9 steps? Yeah, give me a quick thumbs up, yeah, over there, because I'm going to share with you another amazing, very, very powerful. Because how many of us, all right, and I'll ask this question: how many of us want to have a good team? How many of us want to have a good team? And I imagine some of you over here, you got great teams and they're awesome. They're standing by you during MCO, and I know some people, amazing. They have great, great, great employees. The employees also go to the business owner, go to the employer, go to them and say, boss, I know now very, very hard, sangat susah, it's challenging. Can I take a pay cut? Oh my gosh. You have employees, because, okay, I got moratorium. I don't have to pay the loan. I don't have to pay my car, So we have some, and for me, if anybody were to do that, oh my gosh, your heart warm or not, I tell you, my would lah. How many of you want to have a good team? How many of you want to grow a good team? There are 5 steps to this. Okay, so this is what I'm going to share with you over here. Because the 5 steps is very, very powerful. Because if you notice, yeah, I'm going to just draw some of this out. Okay, the first step, okay, the first step, which is your ground zero, your first step is actually compliance. Okay, if you notice, is compliance. Compliance means your first step to growing your employee loyalty, where you have a good team that will face any challenge with you. Okay, the first part is compliance, if I may. So thank you so much, team, for making that bigger so everybody can look at this. Yeah, thank you very much. Mala, oh, I'm glad that you joined this. Structured thought process. Very, very good for startups and reviewing a lot of, you're absolutely right. The traditional way of doing business, we are in the business of transforming a lot of traditional forms of doing business. And some of the things that we're talking about today is cutting edge. All right. So, if I may, coming back to the loyalty ladder, the first part of growing a good team is compliance. Compliance means your employees know how to follow the systems. They act when requested or threatened. Okay, hopefully you don't have to threaten your employees. You better do this. If not, now you don't necessarily have to do that, but some people they resort to that. Okay. Of course, I'll share with you shortly. You don't always have to threaten people, because if your employees only act out of fear of losing job, that's not a good, healthy relationship. Okay, and I'll share shortly why. All right, that's probably in the next slide. So hang in there. Okay. Now, then the next step, of course, as you grow your employee loyalty, is agreement. Okay, you notice I missed one step. Hang on, I get to that shortly. The first step is compliance. The second step is agree and understand quickly, can be convinced. So you're all in agreement. So that why that's different from compliance is compliance. Okay, law. You want me to do it that way? I do, law. I don't necessarily agree, but okay, law. I will just do it because you said so. That is compliance, right? Okay. Now that is the bare foundation. Okay. Agreement meaning they don't necessarily agree, but they can see your point of view. They can see what you're saying. Okay. And when they disagree, they will tell you, boss, why are you doing it this way? Something wrong here. Are you sure? Are you sure? So they'll ask you. So of course that's in agreement. You want people to do that. You don't want your yes man. You say I do law. If you have this kind of people, you got to be careful, because what if you're wrong? Okay. Now, bosses, leaders, and you can possibly be wrong. Now, next step. Oh, and next step is a very amazing one. Alamak, alamak. Why is all this coming out? Okay. Oops. Okay. Alliance. The next step is alliance. Alliance is about your employees start being the encourager. They start encouraging others. Your fellow teammates start getting into demotivated zone, but they're going, hey, what's wrong? Is everything okay? Yeah, I'm at home. It's so hard for me. I got to work. I got to take care of my kids. I got to, hey, for some working moms, during MCO is really, really stressful. And sometimes as colleagues, the best thing we can do right now is say, hey, talk to each other and say, instead of work all the time, log in on Zoom, ask each other, are you doing okay? So in alliance, your employees are looking out for each other. They encourage each other. They go the extra mile. They support each other without the boss, right? And then the last level is collaboration. Now I love this one. Collaboration is the epitome of loyalty, where they even extend their resources. When I say extend resources, employees that will use their own time, energy, and effort, after 6 p.m., when they clock off, so called, they're still answering clients, they're still responding to orders, they're trying to get the money in, they're trying to collect, they're trying to talk to people that have complaints, they're taking action quickly. Or sometimes they're using their own money first. They can't go and get the petty cash approved. They use their own money and they go and buy stuff. So they extend their own resources to the team. Now that's collaboration, and if I may, that's good too. All right, that's good too. Strange. Good to great employee. Now, if I may, notice the line at the bottom. I did not start that as the foundation because that's resistance. If you have resistance, of course, are complaints, employees that don't follow through, they just do whatever they want, they argue, they attack, there's obviously a lot of resistance. If I may, Be cautious when you have these people. You can coach them as much as you want, yeah, if I may, but be cautious if they overstay because they affect the others in compliance, especially if you have a new team and they're kind of going up together. And you have a lot of people that are very high resistance. You want to make sure that you manage the toxicity. And see, this is a very important rule for leaders and business owners. Our job as leaders and business owners is to make sure we manage the energy in our team. Managing the energy means we also must manage the toxicity. People that are toxic, that are not part of your values, that are they just love to, like a battering ram. They just want to ram. They just want to just fight for the sake of fighting. Now, you've had people like that. You've got to be able to manage that as well, because our job, we are the gatekeepers of that energy in our business. Okay, so this is very, very crucial when you build employee loyalty. Now, if I may, in growing very, very good team members and employees, a lot of people ask me this question. They say, hey, Maresa, and these are real, true examples, and I don't know whether some of you face it or not. Some true examples are people that they have superstars, especially sales. So you've got very, very good superstars. Okay, like sales or non-sales. So they know how to do their job. They're very, very good. And obviously they become very, very good. And then they start coming in late. They start, not supporting each other, so they say, oh, but this person is such a performer. I love, he brings in the best amount of sales. She brings all the best accounts, but then the values, the character, attitude, macam not so good. But what do I do? And then on the other hand, so you see on one part, we have the super performer results. Yeah. And then you have the values, and then on the other hand, let me just use my hands. You have people that are great values, always willing to learn, fantastic, always first in the office, last out, hard worker, always willing to change and do whatever that's necessary. But then the results are just not there. So if I may, you need to have both. It is a constant assessment of both results and values to have what we call an engaged and empowered employee. Now, this is very, very, very important, if I may, because you cannot have one without the other. You can't have a super performer that doesn't respect your values, all right? Nor give a hoot about supporting other people, or teaching what they know that makes them a very good performer. There's also one thing. Now, then I find a lot of businesses tend to be more, they tend to manage the results, the quantitative part more. Okay, because that allows them to justify the ROI for the salaries that they pay. So that's very easy. This person bring sales, 100,000 every month, 50,000 every month. Very easy to justify. But values are equally important, which is why as a CEO or a business owner or a leader, head of department in your company, doesn't matter whether you run the company, you own it or not, you are still a leader. How do you maintain the values? And you see, this comes in this talks about resilience, if I may. The resilience of each and every person in your team is carried, the resilience of a company is carried by each and every person in your team. Does that make sense, guys? You can't have one without the other. And I realize that a lot of CEOs, business owners, leaders are better at managing the results. Okay, so this is very important because it brings me to another very important topic where we talk about, where are you, where's your team? Okay, and I'll let you plot that shortly. But because what you see on my screen, the y-axis, all right, is the meaning axis, and then the x-axis is the performance axis. Okay, thank you very much, team in the back end, making this a little bit bigger so that everybody can copy this down. Okay, so write it down. Because if you're on the y-axis, meaning means, people that have a deep meaning to come to work. There's a very strong purpose. There's a very strong passion to come to work. Yeah, so this meaning is very, very important. And of course that comes along with performance, because performance is also your results, your outcomes, your profitability. You see, all that comes in. You can't have one without the other. All right, so it's important to have both in running a good business. Yeah, if you are on the right hand side, that means you're on low on performance and you're also low on meaning. We call that the underdeveloped quadrant. To the underdeveloped quadrant, a lot that needs to be done. All right, people are slow at moving, slow at solving customer issues, and then they don't really care. They're there, they're not there, they don't care. So that's underdeveloped. All right, so that quadrant is one. Uh, the other quadrant, as you move, so from we're still on low performance, but we go to high meaning. High meaning here means you're a dreamer or you're a creator. Okay, so high meaning, low performance. I'll give you some examples of businesses that fall into this quadrant. Again, it's just a generic explanation. Some businesses that fall into that quadrant could be NGOs, non-profit organizations, because there's a very strong meaning to be there. And you see, in a lot of NGOs, hardly people get paid. A lot of it is volunteerism. And so in volunteerism, you can expect low performance. But the thing is, there's a high meaning to be there. Everybody will put in their nights and their Saturdays and their Sundays and public holidays to feed the children, to support an orphanage, and I see a lot of very good businesses that are supporting people that are homeless now. During this lockdown is actually very challenging. So some businesses fall into that quadrant. And then on the high performance, low meaning, are what we call the performer quadrant. Okay, so I'm just chalking it up, making money. Yeah, let's go next. All right, but maybe very low meaning. So in this quadrant, you might find there are some businesses where keeping employees are hard because there's no difference. I work in this bank, no difference. I work to another bank, and that bank gave me an offer extra 300 ringgit. Okay lah, go there lo. So there are some institutions that fall into the performer category where, they get job done, it's really good, it's probably also very high pressure, very high stressed, but low meaning. So there's no real retention there. And of course, the next part of the quadrant is what we call a peak self-directed team, where both high meaning and high performance, that means the employees know why they're there. They know why they're there. They're there to serve. They are proactive. They can see the challenges that come ahead and they can solve those problems before they come, and they say, okay, this is going to end up a very big mess. Can I highlight it to my boss now? Can I solve it? And so a peak self-directed team is a team that knows how to move in the direction of the organization and serve its best interest. And that comes with having both performance and meaning structures in place. All right. So just take a moment, everybody, and just you have got this on your pen and paper. Just mark down where you think you are. Are you on the high performance or average, in the middle, or low? And then the meaning part, how much do you see your team have a aligned meaning to sustain with the organization? Or are they just there for the salary? Okay, so checking points, checking time for yourself. All right, because this is very, very important, if I may. And for those of you who have any questions, I forgot to mention this earlier. If you have questions, throw it into the comment box, because I'm here to answer some questions, guys. If you you face certain issues, you may be working for yourself, or you may be working for others, or you might have a business and you're running a team like this, and you want to know how to work around this, please, this is a very good platform. Okay, so please ask me any questions that you wish. All right, so I'll continue into the next part. So once you understand the meaning and performance axes, every business is constantly juggling this, if I may. You're constantly juggling. No business is perfect. So it's very important to just know where you are and have very, very clear strategies that lead you into that quadrant. You see, once you're in that quadrant, you don't work so hard, I know some businesses that when we got into the movement control order, and everything shut down, the team took everything and rocked and rolled. The team took took authority. It went into that, and the bosses can still lay back. I know this CEO, he's amazing, because you know what he said to me, because I wanted to set up a meeting and chat about a collaboration with him, and he says, Marissa, I don't work in the mornings, only after 2 o'clock. Then I said, oh, I assume, oh, are you a late bird? You work until the middle of the night? Oh no, I clock off at 6. Really? Yep. My team handles everything, so I only work from 2 to 6. They want to talk to me, I'm only online and available 4 hours every day. I'm like, whoa, that is a peak. So now, how many of you want that? Okay, so again, these are structures that have been put in place. Yeah, pretty amazing stuff. Pretty amazing. Because if I may, a lot of people, and this is the last very important question that I want to ask you, that a lot of people get confused about. When I ask this question in my seminars, and I ask, okay, how many of you need more leaders in your company? So, how many of you want leaders, better leaders, to have greater leadership? Which one do you want? And most of the time, if I may, guys, and pop that into the comment box. If you want more leaders, type leaders. Okay. Versus, and I like to ask this, all right, which one do you want more of? You want better leaders, or you want better managers? All right. Type that in. If you want more leaders, type leaders. If you want better managers, write managers. So which one do you think we need? Now, this is a very interesting. Now, a lot. What I'm going to say next, and this is the last part of today, it is going to blow you away, because a lot of people, they want a particular type of person, but that's probably not what they need. Be careful. So, how many of you think you need more leaders? Now, how many of you think you need more managers? Okay. Ricky, thank you very much. Leaders, awesome, awesome. All right. Thank you very much. Now, and there's no right and wrong. There's no right and wrong. But the crucial thing is, be careful of what we say. We want. Thank you, Mala. Okay, Mala says managers. Thank you. Okay, so we got two camps here. All right. Anybody care to jump into the Ricky camp and the Mala camp? Jump right in, all right, guys. No right and wrong, because I'm here to share this with you, okay? So, if I may, I'll define leaders for you. Now, when you say you want more leaders, okay, these are leaders. Leaders are people that know how to grow and inspire the team. They know how to step on the deck and continue inspiring clarity and direction. Okay, so you have leaders that understand the purpose of the organization, and they know how to keep inspiring and influencing that purpose. Okay, and then you've got managers. Okay, so managers, let me show you managers. All right, oops. Okay, leaders focus on the future. Okay, and managers are people that manage your resources. They know how to manage the business's resources, the time, the team, the money. They are focused on delivery. They are focused on execution. Now, this is very, very important, because if I may, you guys remember the X and Y axis that I showed you just now? Leaders is one axis and managers are the other axis. But before I get into that, let me just share this with you. Have you experienced now, between leaders and managers, the challenge here is that leaders are people that are like your visionaries. They know how to focus on the future. They know how to focus on that direction, that clarity. Yeah. However, have you ever experienced a business where you've got a lot of leaders, people that are talking, yeah, 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 wow, and in your inside meetings, they usually blow up with a lot of passion and emotion, and then the minute you get out of that meeting, nothing gets done. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Now, that meeting is a council of a lot of people who we call leaders. And leaders sound like leaders. It's very easy to attract leaders, because they sound like it's easy because, well, what's my point? Leaders get attracted to other leaders because of the way they sound, the energy that they have, where they connect to your purpose. So leaders attract more leaders, and because if I'm a leader, I get attracted to other leaders because they sound like they understand my purpose. Now that's a challenge because understanding the vision and understanding where we want to take the business, the future of it, the challenge is we can understand the future and that picture, that vision. But if I may, the challenge with a lot of businesses is not about not having that clarity of the vision, is what we need to do today. That is the present. And where are future results created? Future results are created today, not tomorrow, it's created today. So the challenge with a lot of businesses is as they want more leaders, and I'll ask, how many of you want more leaders? Hang on. Do you want more leaders or do you want more managers? Because managers execute, they get things done. And you go back to the X and the Y axis. And I'll get you to draw this word vertically, meaning when you are the person in your business that continues to cascade the meaning, you're cascading the reason why we're here, you're cascading the energy, you're managing the energy in your team, the direction and the clarity, MCO, lockdown, post MCO, whatever. We are those people that are managing those energy. That makes you a leader. Therefore, you are focused on inspiring the direction. But in getting things done, performance is from managers, people that know how to manage the resources, budget the team, manage the projects, get things done, go according to a timeline. And how many of you know what I'm talking about? Some leaders really suck at managing. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Now, you have leaders that can do that, and there are some managers that suck at leading. Now, this is very, very important because when you can tell this difference, you know the type of person to hire. And I'll come back to leaders. Leaders attract leaders and they like how other leaders sound like because they sound passionate. They sound very like, you sound like you understand my purpose and my goals. The challenge is leaders don't necessarily understand managers because managers are they're detailed, they're meticulous, they question everything, they find problems, they look for loopholes, they look for risks that has not been covered. You see, managers are there to make sure things don't go wrong. So leaders not necessarily identify good managers. But you see, that's what we need to be very clear of when we are building our team. Does that make sense, guys? Very, very good. Mala, because my current organization needs more effective execution. Thank you. Thank you very much. Totally, you're getting it. So managers get things done. Leaders draw the vision. Okay, so this is very, very crucial. When your business gets bigger, yeah, you need leaders. But at the stage of execution, to take off the managing from you, you need other managers. Does that make sense, guys? All right, awesome, awesome. I hope you guys are getting this. This is one very, very key part. It focuses on the present and the now and not just in the future. Okay, so very, very powerful. I hope you guys enjoyed this segment here, gang, because I'm about to wrap it up. How many of you really enjoyed this sharing? And you can see, give me a bit of a thumbs up, give a bit of a heart, if you can see how you can help your business now and have taken away one or two pieces of information where you can make your business more resilient. Okay, and as I go into wrapping up today, I'm going to fulfill my promise on the two things that I told you I would tell you because that will make you more resilient and make better decisions in the future. Okay, so as I go into completing today, for those of you who have been following this so far, the two things that help us very, very much in becoming more resilient and to make better decisions, and you see, this is what one of my mentors have told me before, is number one, okay, when making better decisions and being more resilient, the first thing that influences that decision is number one, the books we read. Okay, now when he told me this and he said the books we read, I gathered that as the knowledge that we consume. when we consume the right knowledge, that changes, that influences the way that we think. Now, this is very important, all right? So, which is why you guys are here. I hope I've influenced the way you think in some way, because that will help you to lead your teams better. Number two, now this is important as well, the people that we know. Now, why is this important? The people that we know, the second thing that will help you to influence your decisions, because the people that you know, they can give you different forms of advice. They can give you different forms of input. They can give you different forms, they can challenge you in different ways on, hey, why are you making this decision this way? Is there a better way? So these two are very, very critical, knowledge and people, because they help influence the input into your system, which is why I just want to share with you. Uh, the team at the Spark Group Asia, including myself, for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Maresa, and I've been sharing with you over the last 1 hour, but I'm the CEO and the founder of the Spark Group Asia. We are all four leaders and entrepreneurs. We want to help grow leaders, business owners, entrepreneurs, whether you're an SME, whether you're in a large corporate or a multinational company. We have dedicated so much of our life and committed ourselves to a very large, audacious goal. For those of you who know, my target at the end of 10 years is to impact 1 million entrepreneurs. And I'm not just doing this for Malaysia, I'm doing this for Asia. That's why, as you can see on this show, there are people from Manila, there are people from Yangon, there are people from Jakarta. So we have, and that's what I've done. Over MCO, guys, it is not easy doing this, but I've brought together all my friends from different parts of the world. You see them on the screen over here. So you see a lot of these amazing people over here that people from Myanmar, Andrew Piakai. So for those of you who are from Yangon, some of you who are also watching this from Manila, Jonathan Yabut is going to be coming and speaking to us. We've got Mazuki, who is going to be talking about emotional intelligence. This guy is very, very good with helping you to manage your inner resilience. Yeah. Myself, I'm going to be talking about enabling the skill of coaching in your leaders. We've got Sandra. Sandra is a good friend of mine from Fiji Islands. She's from the same place as Anthony Robbins. And she's going to talk about being a systemic leader. The other lady that you see at the bottom left is actually Chia Chia. She's Malaysian, but she spends a lot of time in China and Taiwan. She is trained by Jack Ma, not Jack Ma, but Jack Ma's team, and she's in the Certified Alibaba Training Academy. And she's one of the pioneers in Malaysia, and we've got her very, very busy. In fact, she was the last person that I could confirm. She's coming in, teaching us how to digitize your business. So, ladies and gentlemen, those of you who are on this call, still to the end, I've got something very, very good for you coming up, where I'm going to give you something that you must not miss, all right? And Cynthia Wiaja is from the UK. She's going to talk about managing transitions. There are some people that got retrenched during COVID-19. In fact, they were the first to let go. So some of them have lost careers, lost jobs, and then they maybe want to start business. Some people have lost business as well. So Cynthia is here to put the right mindset in place. Felicia is from Singapore, all right, and she's going to talk a little bit more about how you stay persuasive in a crisis. Andrew is one of my good friends who has weathered many recessions. So he's an amazing guy who will give you a lot of practical information. Last but not least, Marvin Suarso from Indonesia. Amazing. Now his is very interesting because his how-to strategies are going to teach you from Jakarta. He's going to teach you how you manage a remote team. Now all of us had to go remote, right? We literally cannot go to the office, so we had to manage our teams from our house. But there were a lot of challenges with managing performance. Some business owners and leaders went into micromanaging. Update me every hour. What are you doing? Because they just don't feel secure. So how do you do that? So Marvin brings amazing strategies, how-to strategies. And if I may, guys, those of you who are watching this, this is the recipe for resilience. The recipe for resilience is both inside and out. Like earlier I mentioned, the resilience necessary for us to get up after we've fallen, It's also very important to be adaptable, which is why the Spark Group Asia, we work so hard to bring all my good friends who are masterclass speakers in their own regions. I brought them all here, and they're all going to be sharing over an hour and a half each from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., May 8th and 9th. Amazing. Any other time, it would cost us so much money to have all these speakers share their master classes with us. Okay, now all that's going to take is 198 ringgit. Now, some of you might be asking, I'm interested. Yeah, I've seen some of you ask me this question. I'm interested, but I cannot make it for all. Okay, if I may, there's going to be a recording for 30 days. Off of this live 30 days, you will be able to watch the session. No problem. It will be available, recorded sessions to you. And if I may, after you register, the detailed itinerary will be made to you, and then you can start planning your sessions. Don't worry, got time for lunch and dinner also lah. Don't worry. So all that is actually all in there. Okay, so not to worry, that is the link that you want to make sure you do not miss. So please type that out, guys. resilientleadership.asia. Okay, only 198 ringgit. Now wait, I'm going to give you something really, really special. All right, are you guys ready? Guys ready? Okay, now load that link, resilientleadership.asia. And then I want you to take note of this code now. So the minute you key in your name, your email address, your phone number, and sign up your own packs, that code WED30 is going to give you 30% off. Now, this is the last part. We are giving this, and for this code, we are accepting the first 10 people or until Wednesday is done. So by the time Wednesday is finished, this code is not available anymore, or whichever sooner 10 people have signed up. So we have amazing people that are coming from many different countries, yeah, and they're all signing up. Of course, the program will be in English, yeah. So please key in your name, your email, your phone number, and key in this code WED30, yeah. That will give you 30% off right off the bat, and you can rock and roll and see us on May 8th and 9th. So for those of you whom I know, some of you, I see some of your names here, familiar names. I will be seeing you on May 8th. Yeah, I'll be seeing you. So please bear in mind. And for those of you who also know some friends who need to get a bit more of a clearer picture on how to become more resilient. You know, it's a tough time for many of us right now. And that's actually how I started. I started this 2-day powerful event because I was having a tough time myself. And you know, for me, I have to guide many of my clients and many business owners and lead many people as well. So, and I realized that I was not going to be a good resource if I was demotivated. I lacked clarity. So how I started, guys, for those of you who know, I actually call up all my friends. These are my friends. So I call them up and I say, hey, Mazuki, how things going on your end? Hey, Cynthia, how things going over there in the UK? You know, and then they'll share. And I spoke to Marvin. So we were exchanging thoughts and we were keeping each other motivated. And that gave me a lot of input and saying, wow, I think I can weather this. And so that's how it started, because I said, hey, you know, why don't we just put a gig together and help everybody? So that's how the Resilient Leadership Live Asia got born. And of course, it's been amazing ever since. So those of you who want to make sure that you don't miss this, gang, please do remember, two things are going to make you more resilient. Two things, yeah. Number one, the books that you read, the knowledge that you put in is going to influence your decisions. And number two, okay, more importantly, are the people that you meet. So I hope we get to meet, yeah. I think many of you are new friends to me, but of course, post MCO, I hope post COVID-19, maybe by this year, I hope we get to meet again, because it's getting very lonely. Of course, for some of us going, oh, I'm so lonely at home. Some of us are locked down with our families, so kudos for you. But for me, I hope that we come out fine and that things are all going to be okay. So I hope to see you on May 8th and 9th, gang. And I hope today was also awesome. Those of you who had a very, very good session today, just give me a quick thumbs up, give me a heart, just so that I know that, a lot of this information is landing somewhere. So for us, we do a lot of these Facebook Lives, do a lot of this education because we know the community needs this right now. So just give me a quick thumbs up, gang. Before we call it a day, and I hope to see you in the next live. All right. So thank you very much, Nick, Joe, Mala, Ricky. Thank you very much for being here. Esther, Emma, Eric. Very, very happy. Yin, Yiwin, very, very happy to have you. Del, I hope you're still on the call. Please send my regards to John Yabbott. But otherwise, guys, let's have a fruitful day together, and I will see you soon. Take care. Till the next live.